Eric is here.
Okay. Awesome. We're streaming and Eric's here. We'll give Eric a few seconds to connect to it, then we'll get started. So
Perfect.
I have 30 minutes to go here.
We're live everywhere.
Okie dokie. Yep, there we are.
You can walk through.
Okay, I see Eric's on, so let's get started. And I don't know if you guys want me to be sending out agendas for this. I think we all knew. The only thing we really have to go over is sidewalk stuff. I guess I will start this by saying committee members Diane Shrimp and Brian Wolf are in attendance, as is Mayor Hughes and councilpersons Benedetti and Curl. Also Eric, our village planner, and Becky, does everything in the office person. Sorry, I know you have a better job description than that, and it escapes me right now. Let's jump right in. Hopefully everyone had time to review what Eric sent out today.
Oh, he sent today?
Yep, sent it to, I believe, everyone.
4 hours ago.
Yeah, about 4 or 5 o'clock, sometime in there.
A little early.
2:36.
Yeah, it was,
Yes, thank you.
it was sometime after I said, hey, do we have to have a meeting? Because I don't think anything's changed. And he said, hold on, I'll get that.
I did.
I looked through it again. I looked through this new one and only found 2 things that bugged me. One is on page 3 of 9. This is in section XXX.04. The last half of C, where it's talking about serving notice. It still says the notice will recite that the village will accomplish the construction, repairs, and replacement as part of the village-wide neighborhood program, blah, 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 blah. And I think that needs to be removed because I think we all agreed we want the initial onus to be on the homeowner and not the village.
Missed that one. I will get that off. Thank you.
Awesome. The only other thing I noticed, and I will admit I did not dive deep into all the concrete stuff, not knowing anything about concrete. It didn't really seem pointful for me, is on the first page, letter B under definition, the handicap access approaches. I, of course, knows what those are. Those are the end of the sidewalk with the little red textured brick. And I just wanted to put to the committee, do we want residents to be responsible for that? Or since that's, ADA extra sort of fancy stuff, should the village be taking care of that as a service to residents?
If I may, those on the corners there where they exist, I would say normally villages and cities take care of it. They're an expensive change with the armor tile and everything.
Mhm.
There's a definition in there for purpose. I would say that I don't recall it being in there that they're directly responsible, but generally when we talk sidewalk program, it's sidewalks. But when we get to intersections where there's a viable crosswalk to ADA standards, curb gutter, usually it's the municipality that handles that.
Okay, that was just my thought. I wanted to make sure that we weren't dumping that on people because, yeah, they look like those are a lot more expensive than a sort of standard sidewalk block.
So a corner lot that's on that corner wouldn't be considered abutting that that bit of sidewalk, because it's the abutting owner that is responsible for the sidewalk. I'm only just asking for clarification, right? I want to make sure that it's as clear as it needs to be.
We'll get some exemption language back to you on the next change out, because that one I have to take to legal counsel just to make sure that that's how it's handled, right?
Sure.
So,
Okay, that was all I saw that I wanted to bring up or had issue or problems with. Diane or Brian, I'll toss it open to you two as committee members if you have any input you would like to add or questions.
No, the changes I was looking for, I saw reflected. I didn't review it for technical specifications, as I also am not a concrete technical specifications kind of person. So I was pretty well satisfied.
Diane, anything?
Well, I didn't look at it because I didn't know it was
Oh.
there, but
All right, yeah, you mentioned that.
I do know, I kind of scrolled to the last page that had the failure provisions in it. And I see, I just have noticed, I think it's all right, but we didn't really talk about the misdemeanor, being guilty of a misdemeanor or not, for trying to replace without a permit. That's in there. In C, it just says, be advised that a fine may be imposed as the rate. I think that was supposed to be at the rate, AT. Just
Yeah, I'm
It
sure
should be
that's,
adjusted to whatever is appropriate.
no, I think it's just a grammatical typo.
Yeah.
A fine may be at the rate, because you already have the may, you don't need, yeah. Sorry, Diane, for interrupting.
No, it's so fine.
Was that all on that one?
Okay. So there's basically two things that Eric is following up on,
Yes,
two,
from what I
or
understand,
three actually, because of my one was the third tiny one.
correct.
Handicap one, language, and you're gonna check.
Yes.
Can somebody mute whoever is got that background noise?
That'd be Joe? Yes,
Thank you. Fantastic. And then the what was the first one was that you were going to do?
well, it had to do with just getting rid of the reference to any type of village program under .04 procedure for
Okay.
construction. I missed that part of the paragraph. We'll get that out of there.
All right.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. It just missed the scrub.
Okay. So that's it.
Very good.
Okay, since we do still have time and other two council members took their time to show up to this, I will, the other two council persons want to make comments on it so we can avoid having to draw it out in general session. That would be an appropriate time for that.
Well, I haven't had time to go over it completely, so I'm not sure if it, covers aprons. Does it talk about aprons also? Eric?
This one, yes, no, thank you. This is specifically dealing with block. So we're not talking about apron standards in this particular case. We're talking about sidewalk blocks.
Right, I know. This is, again, you don't want to, I feel like, Chairman, if you don't want to discuss till the next meeting because I'm not in the committee, then we'll just do it that way.
No, what I just said is since we have people
Because okay, I guess we got time.
discuss it,
So
so
I'll-
we don't have to discuss it in the meeting. I believe was my sentence.
Are we talking about sidewalks or aprons?
Well, what I'm talking about is why we were in this conversation in the first place. It was to address the responsibilities of maintenance of right-of-ways. And we're working on sidewalks, but this is also the time where I believe aprons should be incorporated into sidewalks, because
The council was going to present something regarding a memo, and that'll be addressed as far as our rights to address aprons, and then council, based on that, can take up any particular maintenance program regarding aprons, if that's what you want to do.
Well, the word apron does appear 25 times in this document.
Right. It's also in the title. Replacement of sidewalks, integral approaches /
I haven't had a
aprons in
chance to
related
look at
areas.
this yet, so I may be bringing up something that is already in there, but
So what maybe instead of asking if it's handled, maybe you could ask what you're actually asking.
Yes.
to make sure that what the specifications are for apron.
So you're saying you want to make sure that in addition to talking about sidewalk blocks, we also have code language for aprons as part of this
Right,
proposed ordinance.
right. And again, I haven't had a chance to look through it yet. It only came out 4 hours ago, 2:30 is when this came out, and I did have a chance to look through it quickly, but I haven't. So there may be other things, I guess that once I look at it, then we'll see if what I'm talking about probably may already been discussed in there or covered in there. But again, I'll look at it and, maybe we'll just do some emails back and forth if I found anything.
That seems to be more than fair enough.
So Tony, it specifically in, got to scroll up here to get to the beginning of the section. .061W. It says, oh wait, was it W? Hold on. Now I had to scroll and I lost my place. But
Things out.
basically, there we go. Concrete approach apron specifications shall be in accordance with the most current edition of the State of Ohio Department of Transportation construction and material specifications, except as follows. All item numbers refer to ODTS, and then there looks to be
5.
five sliced out exceptions that all look to me to be cut and paste from somewhere else.
Yeah, those are on page 9 at the end.
No.
I was looking at 7, page
Yeah,
7.
page 7.
Oh, I have,
You might be looking at the noted, the revision
oh,
track.
you're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm looking
Yeah.
at my change so I can keep track.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think also what Tony might be saying, because that is how aprons should be, I guess, but not when it would trigger us saying, hey, Joker, get your apron fixed because it looks like crud.
Well,
That's-
yeah,
That's probably under the
I'm gonna
inspection.
have to look at it.
Mhm.
All right, well then,
This tonight was mostly a formatted change, and I apologize for the delay. We were short on time to some degree with a lot of things going on. So
Right, all right. It's good that we're getting this done. I mean, we probably won't have to pull it out and hit some upside the property line with it for hopefully a good 10 or 12 years if the MI did a fairly decent job pouring concrete. And we don't need it done by the end of the week. If someone needs to replace a sidewalk by then, I don't think it's our fault.
understood.
well, a standard for when aprons need to be replaced would be effective throughout the village, right? That's
Yes, that would, and there are aprons that are, I'm
Yeah.
sure, in less than good condition.
What's interesting on the aprons, just to give you some food for thought, is a lot of parts of the classic village, there are, of course, asphalt aprons, and people blended them into the, with different asphalt types into the roadway, which creates its own set of interesting issues over time. As they've replaced aprons, people have been putting in concrete and do it more, to Columbus standards, which would be normal, quite frankly, because they base it on ODOT standards, which is the same thing this document is based on. We
And
can,
then there would be questions on aprons, of course, would affect everyone, or would they? Because an apron that doesn't have a sidewalk going through it isn't necessarily a hindrance to people's walking or what have you, as although I know there's an easement, a public right of way the first few feet of your property, generally we don't walk into people's yards.
generally speaking, yes, there's a lot of trees in the old classic area of Minerva Park, so a lot of people are on the street.
Mhm. All right, does anyone else have anything then for this? That was the only thing I had to go over. Then it looks like maybe we can, once people get some more time to look at it and check on that apron thing, we can do some emails, or we can have another meeting, of course, before we bring this up in council, because I don't think we're anywhere as near ready for that yet.
I have a brief question, if I may.
Go right ahead.
On the apron sidewalk issue, are we talking about sidewalks that transverse an apron where there's a dip?
When you say a dip, you mean one that is?
Well, as an apron descends down a grade and a sidewalk is level, sometimes you could have a sidewalk where there's a dip down across the apron and then back up, which is a wheelchair.
Correct. These are, as noted in this particular document, the sidewalk needs to stay on ADA standards. So
Yeah.
that will be expected from a slope standpoint.
That was just a question, not a comment.
The ones in the new subdivision are all to proper ADA standard. They've been engineered and they've been reviewed.
All right, well, if no one has anything else, I am ready to adjourn this meeting and take a 15-minute break before our next meeting. Or 12
Awesome.
minutes, so we'll all have time to log
Finish
on.
making dinner.
Gotcha. Any objection there?
No.
All right, see you all in 12 to 15 minutes. We stand adjourned.
Thank you.